Once again, a season of The Mandalorian comes to a close. Yes, the finale of The Mandalorian Season 3 has dropped on Disney+. So now I talk about it with the spoilers. That is a huge spoiler warning. If you have not watched this entire season of The Mandalorian yet, and you are planning on it, you should not watch this video. Because I will be spoiling the finale. You have been warned. Alright, so let's just dive in, huh? Because this finale just dives right in. I gotta say, once again, Grogu is the MVP of this episode. He just had the most standout moments here. Again, I've been saying this all season, but really just seeing how sentient and aware he is of the situation, especially with how he reacts to Din Djarin. Like, Din Djarin will say, "Are you with me?" Grogu will be like, "Yeah." I just love that. And yeah, like I predicted last week, this is the battle for Mandalore. It's the Mandalorians versus the Empire, or the remnants of the Empire, Gideon's division. But really, the first thing worth noting in this episode is when D&G, they make it into this chamber, and we see all these Bacta tanks. Now, we've seen clone tanks throughout the series before, but this is the first time we really get a good look at what's inside. And yeah, those are Gideon clones. Upon first glance, I was like, those are Gideon's. Okay, so Moff Gideon was making clones of himself? That wouldn't have been good. So it is a good thing that we just blew them up right then and there. And we actually learned later that Moff Gideon was hoping for these clones to come through because they would have been Force wielders. He's like, they would have had the one thing I've never had. The Force. And I was like, oh, okay, you think back to when Grogu was kidnapped in Season 2. That is the reason why. They were talking about it in Season 2 where they were like, oh, this foundling has a higher M count than anything we've ever seen. That's relevant now. When Din rescued Grogu in Season 2, Moff Gideon was like,
I've already got what I want from him.
So I'm guessing, yeah, they extracted like blood or something from Grogu, put them into Gideon's clones, they were gonna be Force wielders. Oh well, didn't work out. Too bad, so sad. There were some pretty kick-ass moments in this episode, you gotta admit. I mean, when Bo-Katan and the Armorer and all of them are flying into battle, and Bo-Katan gets out the Darksaber, she's leading the charge. I was like, that is badass. Just, I mean, come on, what an awesome shot. And she's just slicing and impaling troopers midair, like the boss she is. Come on, that was cool. Although one of my favorite moments in this episode is when they're taking on those Praetorian guards. You know, the ones that took out Paz Vizsla in the last episode. So when they came out and the choir kicked on, oh, I was like, you might be screwed here, Din. I mean, they took down that tank. How are you gonna take him out? Oh, with the help of Grogu, of course. Because you can't go wrong when you've got the Force.
Have I made a rhyme?
I love it though, they take out those guards as a team. It's total teamwork right there. Grogu's using the Force to, get the weapons out of their hands. And they do take them out. I thought that was awesome. And after it's done, Din is like, you did good, kid. And Grogu's like, yeah. Again, I love that shit. Like, I know this is saying a lot, but now more than ever, we definitely feel the bond between Din Djarin and Grogu. Like, there is no separating them anymore. Although the IG unit droid does get destroyed again. So that sucks. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Although speaking of things that get destroyed, when Bo-Katan is fighting Moff Gideon, the Darksaber gets destroyed. Right there, I was like, oh shit. For some Star Wars fans out there, that is years of knowing the Darksaber from the Star Wars Clone Wars animation and Star Wars Rebels. All that history comes to an end right here in the Mandalorian Season 3 finale. You gotta wonder though, like, can it be fixed? Is there another Kyber crystal out there possibly like this? I have no idea. So like, what's gonna happen to the leadership of Mandalore now? I guess we'll get into that later down the line maybe. I like how in this episode they were like, alright, we gotta deal with Gideon now. We have to kill him once and for all. Otherwise he's just gonna keep on coming. Which, yeah, was definitely true. And so that big old Imperial light cruiser comes crashing down. I did think Axe-Woves was gonna die for a hot minute, but he gets out of that ship just fine. But in the explosion, the fire envelops Moff Gideon, and so I guess he's dead now? I think he definitely had enough time to at least run from the explosion. Like, he was just standing there. Like, the ship comes down and crashes and explodes, and he's just like, ah! I was like, alright. I will admit that did kind of feel anticlimactic. Like, no one got to kill him, no one got to impale him with the Darksaber. Then again, he was wearing Beskar armor, so maybe he's still alive. I feel like a post-credit scene could have been like him crawling out of the explosion all burned and scarred up. That would have been cool, actually. But for all we know now, I guess he's dead. Alrighty then. I do gotta give all sorts of props to Giancarlo Esposito in this role. He was absolutely the best villain in Star Wars since the original OG Darth Vader. I mean that dude, he just had that presence. That presence that honestly felt like OG Vader. He would just walk in a room and you instantly knew you were like, well, it's his room now. He chewed scenery. So I do hope he comes back. But in the resulting explosion, it's funny, because Bo-Katan goes down and tries to shield them with her little arm shield thing. I was like, that's not going to be enough. What, that's going to save them from the fire? Nope, it's Grogu to the rescue, baby! That awesome moment, man, when he's shielding them from the fire, the music's kicking on. I also got to give props to Joseph Shirley for scoring this season. I thought he did a really good job, especially in this scene. And so, that is it. The battle is won, Mandalore is retaken, and we have victory! I honestly have no idea where this expression came from with me, but I just love it, you know? It's a V for victory, but with thumbs up. The Great Forge is relit, And I love how Axe Woves just screams, "For Mandalore!" I was like, dude is passionate, that's awesome. And so in the epilogue, we get the scene where Din officially adopts Grogu as his son. I mean, we've been seeing them since father and son pretty much since the end of season 2, or at least the Book of Boba Fett. But no, now it's official. It's written in song, according to the armorer. The kid is now Din Grogu. Okay, wait a minute. Are you telling me that Din is the surname here? Like, have I had this all wrong all this time? I thought Din was Din Djarin's first name. But no, I guess I had it all wrong. I guess it's like Chinese names or something, where the surname is first. So Djarin is his actual name? I don't know. So now we have Din Djarin and Din Grogu, which means they are now DD and DG. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to come up with a better name than that. Something more convenient to call them. Thanks, finale. Maybe I'll still just call him Grogu. I don't know. We'll see. But then the kid touches the water and we see the mythosaur again, and I was like, oh yeah, that really went nowhere, huh? Like, Bo-Katan still knows the mythosaur is down there, and nothing ever happened since then. She's still keeping it a secret, no one else knows about it except the armorer. Din Djarin, even though he was down there, he was unconscious, he still doesn't know. Is that gonna come back? I'm kinda hoping so, for relevance sake. Also the scene a couple episodes ago, where the New Republic discovered that Beskar alloy in Gideon's transport ship. Oh, is the New Republic gonna come after the Mandalorians now? Nope. That never went anywhere either. So some loose ends this season. I don't know, maybe they'll come back down the line. We don't know. But for right now, they just feel like loose ends. So now Din Djarin and Din Grogu, they must leave Mandalore. They're now gonna go on their journeys together. Alright, cool. Their first order of business, the New Republic. And yeah, of course I noticed. Dave Filoni had a cameo here, love it. They even gave him his signature cowboy hat. We all love to see it. And so ultimately, Din Djarin's like, okay, I want to work for the New Republic now. To which I was like, awesome. Sweet, yeah, Din Djarin and Din Grogu, they're good guys now. I mean, sure, he did say like on an as-needed basis, and also the fact that he is technically still a bounty hunter by trade that goes against New Republic regulations, so it's off the record. But still, DD and DG are gonna do jobs for the New Republic. That's great. Joining the cause. And they officially repair IG-11. So IG-11 is back. He's now the Marshal of Navarro. He is still reprogrammed, so he's gonna serve and protect the citizens. Alright, good for them. Maybe we'll see him again in the future. And so the season ends with Din Djarin and Din Grogu, father and son, hanging out in their new little shack on Navarro, and life is good. The end. Yeah, no post-credit scene this time around. Although I guess that makes sense since we do already know what's coming up next in this era. But still, you know, I could have gone for something. But anyway, yeah, that concludes The Mandalorian Season 3. All in all, yeah, I do feel like this finale was a little rushed. I mean, it was, what, 41 minutes long, 38 without credits? The penultimate episode was longer. That did feel a bit strange, and the wipes were really fast too, I noticed. But in the end, I know this season as a whole was kind of divisive among fans, but I thought it was completely solid. I don't know if I like it as much as Season 2, because Season 2, even though it did have quite a few filler episodes, it also had some really awesome epic stuff in there. This season didn't have as much filler, but I also feel like nothing in this season was as awesome or epic as the stuff in Season 2 was. So it kind of balances out. I thought The Mandalorian Season 3 was really good. And we know this is not the end. The future for this era is looking pretty bright. I mean, like I said, up next we have Ahsoka, that's coming out in August. Can't wait for that shit! We have Skeleton Crew with Jude Law. I think that's coming later this year as well. And I also hear they're currently writing Season 4 of The Mandalorian, so we'll see DD and DG again before the big culminating movie. That was announced at Star Wars Celebration. Dave Filoni is directing his first official Star Wars theatrical movie. I hope it's going to be theatrical anyway. That is going to conclude this whole New Republic era saga. With The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, it's all going to culminate in Dave Filoni's movie. Awesome! So we still have plenty to look forward to from the New Republic era in this galaxy far, far away. But for now, The Mandalorian Chapter 24, The Return. Have you watched it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And what are your thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 3 as a whole? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!